Russia needs just 43 seconds. Seriously, that's all the time they need to absolutely erase $400 million of American technology. I mean, not damage it, it's asterisk gone asterisk. Imagine the scene, it's the 47 a.m. In the Arctic, pitch black, 40 below zero. That freezing cold instantly crystallizes your breath, you know? Moscow is about to flip a massive switch that will totally blind the United States up north. They genuinely think this is their checkmate moment, right? They're already popping the champagne. The Russian generals are just glued to their screens. They are watching NATO's super sophisticated surveillance network absolutely collapse right now. They truly believe they've changed the power balance in the Arctic forever, right? But seriously, they have no idea what's coming. 600 feet beneath the ice, something silent and terrifying is gliding through the dark. This $4 billion nuclear vengeance has been waiting for this exact moment. In 74 minutes, that massive Russian base is toast. Check out this absolute disaster. Russia genuinely thought they understood modern war. But what you're about to see is them getting completely dismantled, right? You cannot mess with the world's most technologically advanced navy and assume that blinding them means beating them. Guess what? It absolutely doesn't. Not even close. 7 hours earlier, the North Atlantic was straight up hell, driving through waves so massive they could totally swallow cargo ships whole. Seriously, 60-foot swells, 40 below zero, wind screaming at 80 miles per hour. This carrier battle group isn't here for training exercises, you know? Just 800 meters north sits Nagarsa Air Base. If you think it's just some random Russian outpost, you are absolutely wrong. They turned this frozen rock into an absolute fortress designed to choke NATO's entire Arctic strategy. S-400 missiles can kill aircraft 150 miles away. We need to talk about this terrifying tech, okay? They've got Mach 2.5 missiles and radar that could spot a stealth bomber in a snowstorm. Russia's plan is brutal. Own this base, control the Arctic, and totally lock NATO out forever. The Pentagon's reply: absolutely not. But at 2:47 a.m., the attack hit. Russian jamming systems detonated like a digital nuke, right? One moment, US commanders had everything, the next moment, gone. Everything went dark. You guys, GPS, gone. Radar, just static. All comms collapsed instantly. Then, BAM, Russian MiG-31s pop out of the storm, dumping thousands of flares. It turned the Arctic night into a blinding inferno designed to totally fry our infrared sensors. This was the most massive electronic hit NATO has faced, making our billion-dollar tech just expensive junk, right? Moscow is absolutely ecstatic, right? The Russian generals saw exactly what they wanted, this mighty American carrier group, stumbling totally blind in their backyard. Seriously, sensors dead, comms shattered, navigation crippled, it's total chaos. They're calling this a huge revolution. Proof they finally found the weakness in American naval power. They blinded the Arctic fleet, okay? Capabilities, and think they've won the battle before it even started. What they don't understand, what they can't possibly understand, is that every jamming pulse they're so proud of is about to become a death sentence. Because the USS Virginia isn't panicking at all. 600 feet beneath the ice pack, this nuclear submarine is processing the Russian jamming as targeting intelligence. Think about that. The very weapon Moscow believes guarantees their victory is painting a perfect three-dimensional map of every Russian position, every jammer location, every radar installation, every electronic emission. The Virginia has deployed something Russia apparently didn't know existed. A swarm of AI-powered unmanned underwater vehicles that don't just survive in this chaos, they thrive in it. These aren't remotely piloted drones. These are autonomous hunters running machine learning algorithms that make human operators look slow. The Orca XL and its smaller Rees companions move through the water using variable buoyancy, drifting with Arctic currents at the glutes like pieces of debris. Russian sonar operators are trained to find propellers, engines, mechanical noise. They're not looking for what appears to be a log drifting with the tide. Fatal mistake, because these logs are packed with processing power that's analyzing acoustic signatures in ways Russia never anticipated. See, their Yason M submarine is down there running sophisticated deception, making one vessel look like 10 different contacts. Through acoustic augmentation. Impressive technology would have worked brilliantly 10 years ago. But these American UVs are using AI to cut through the deception like it doesn't exist, triangulating the actual submarine position while it thinks it's invisible. Within minutes, they've tagged it with tracking beacons. The most advanced Russian attack submarine ever built just got marked for death, and it has no idea. To 53 a.m., while chaos reigns on the surface, something extraordinary is happening in the air. For F-35 strike fighters are screaming through the blizzard at 500 knots, 50 feet above the ice pack. This is insane flying. One mistake, one wind shear, and you're a fireball. But these pilots aren't making mistakes. They're exploiting basic physics that Russia apparently forgot about. The Earth is curved. Radar travels in straight lines. Fly low enough and you drop below the radar horizon. Those billion-dollar S-400 systems at Nagarsa, they can't see what they don't have line of sight to. The F-35s are ghosts. Invisible. Untouchable. But they're not just evading, they're hunting. These jets carry blue-green LAR systems that fire thousands of laser pulses per second into the water, wavelengths specifically designed to penetrate seawater and create three-dimensional maps of everything below. Combine that with magnetic anomaly detectors that can sense the distortion 13,000 tons of steel creates in Earth's magnetic field, and you've got X-ray vision through opaque ocean. That invisible Russian submarine, it lights up on pilot displays like a neon sign. Moscow spent billions on stealth technology. America found them with physics. Game over, 3:16 a.m. The P-8 Poseidon arrives on station. This modified Boeing 737 is carrying something Russia is about to learn to fear. Suez signal underwater sound charges. Not torpedoes, not depth charges. Acoustic weapons that generate concentrated sound pulses underwater with devastating psychological effect. The P-8 drops them directly over the Yas and M's position using the targeting data from those F-35s. Inside that submarine, Russian sonar operators experience what feels like a shotgun blast through their headphones. The hydrostatic shock ripples through the entire hull. Their screens go white. Their instruments die for several terrifying seconds. Their death. Blind and helpless, 1,300 feet underwater in hostile territory, the Russian commander makes the only choice he can. He slams the emergency blow system. High-pressure air floods the ballast tanks, the submarine rockets toward the surface, breaching in an eruption of white foam and shattered ice that's visible from orbit. Every NATO satellite locks onto the thermal signature immediately. Russia's most advanced stealth submarine just gave up the only thing that kept it alive. Invisibility. The crew will survive. Their mission won't. Moscow's generals watching this unfold are experiencing the sickening realization that their invincible underwater platform just got forced to the surface by acoustic flashbangs and artificial intelligence. 3:29 a.m. Russia's response reveals everything wrong with their strategy. At Nagarsoya, defensive systems light up the sky. S-400 launchers traverse upward. Panzer systems activate their targeting radars. Crews start firing at what their screens show as hundreds of inbound American aircraft. They're burning through their missile inventory at catastrophic rates, launching million-dollar interceptors at targets they believe represent a massive strike package. There's just one problem. They're shooting at ghosts. High above, YA-18G Growler electronic warfare jets are flooding the electromagnetic spectrum with miniature air-launched decoys broadcasting radar signatures identical to B-50 bombers. The S-400's computer systems are trying to track and prioritize 3,000 targets when they're designed to handle 300. It's not system failure, it's deliberate overload. The algorithms are having a nervous breakdown, trying to figure out which threats are real. Russian crews are screaming into radios, demanding clarification, firing at everything. They don't realize that while they're punching at shadows, the real hammer is already falling. 3:30 for AM Tomahawk missiles arrive. Dozens of them. Some carry Champ warheads, directed electromagnetic pulse generators that don't explode, but emit focused microwave radiation. These weapons fly directly over the Monolith B radar station and release pulses that instantly fry every unshielded circuit within range. No explosion, no fire, no visible damage, just sudden absolute electronic death. That billion-dollar radar complex, now it's very expensive scrap metal. Other Tomahawks carry penetrator warheads that burrow through reinforced concrete before detonating. They strike the runway in a calculated pattern that turns 3,500 meters of reinforced concrete into a crater nightmare. Russian fighters sit trapped on the ground, unable to launch, unable to contest American air superiority. The Bastion missile batteries discovered that American electronic warfare has corrupted their hydraulic control systems at the firmware level. The missiles are physically intact, but electronically lobotomized. Crews are frantically pressing launch sequences. Nothing happens. Those Mach 2.5 anti-ship missiles that were supposed to threaten the carrier group frozen in their tubes, useless, helpless. For 01 AM 74 minutes after Russia launched what they thought was a decisive electronic attack. The situation has inverted so completely it's almost comedic. Nagoya Air Base has gone from functioning fortress to smoking liability. Radar network destroyed. Air defenses paralyzed. Runway unusable. Coastal missiles disabled. Russia's Northern Fleet submarines operating in the area just lost their critical support infrastructure. No air cover, no resupply, no safe harbor. The choke point Russia intended to use for area denial has become a vulnerability they can't defend. Here's what just happened and why it matters. Russia demonstrated genuinely impressive electronic warfare. Their jamming worked exactly as designed. Their submarine deception was sophisticated. Their defensive systems performed to specification. They didn't lose because their equipment failed. They lost because their entire strategic doctrine is obsolete. They assumed that blinding American sensors and creating electromagnetic chaos would force NATO into reactive postures. That assumption was valid maybe 15 years ago. It's catastrophically wrong today because modern American naval warfare doesn't depend on any single system. It's about network integration, sensor fusion, autonomous systems, and adaptive doctrine. Russia tried to blind the radar. America used the jamming signals as targeting data. Russia hid their submarine with acoustic deception. America used physics-based detection that doesn't care about acoustic tricks. Russia built sophisticated air defenses. America saturated them with cheap decoys, while precision weapons exploited the chaos. Every Russian strength became a weakness because the United States has fundamentally reimagined how modern naval warfare works. In the 21st century, the strategic implications are staggering. Russia spent decades and billions building what they believed was an impenetrable Arctic barrier. America dismantled it in 74 minutes using a fraction of available firepower. Not through overwhelming force, through superior adaptation. Through technology integration that Russia apparently can't match. Through operational concepts that, okay, they completely flipped the script. They turned the enemy's strengths into fatal weak spots. That proves the old military assumptions are totally obsolete now, right? The absolutely terrifying part for Moscow. This revealed capabilities the US was quietly developing, autonomous underwater vehicles hunting, with crazy artificial intelligence. Imagine systems that can actually see underwater, and weapons that totally fry enemy gear without blowing it up, right? Plus, they're using enemy jamming as intel instead of just an obstacle. Seriously, if the US can pull this off with a carrier group in the absolutely brutal Arctic, what unbelievable tech are they keeping secret? Russia is still there, sure, but the strategic game has just fundamentally flipped. All those intense anti-access systems Moscow invested in, yeah, maybe not so hot now. Those sophisticated jamming systems, totally obsolete. They just reveal your position, right? And those big bases, they become targets wiped out faster than you can defend them. That 74 minutes of Arctic darkness absolutely proved the rules of modern warfare have changed. If you're still using the old playbook, you've got a huge strategic crisis. Moscow just learned that, okay? Seriously, that was the absolute hardest way to learn, you know?